Hello everyone and welcome to my video and channel. My name is Muda and today we are going over a tier list for the Surging Sparks TCG format. And that is going to cover the following regionals. I am actually recording this a few days before Toronto regionals, so we'll cover Toronto. This will also be useful for anyone going to Birmingham in the UK later in January. And at the end of January, we have San Antonio, which I personally will be at. So if you are at San Antonio, please definitely stop me and say hello. I would love to meet you. All right, let's get on to the tier list. I'm not doing meta share or anything like that because we have so many decks, and this is my third attempt at filming because of a video error. So let's get going. Lost Zone box, I'm putting at B. I think it's definitely crept back up. It had a Kirim definitely made it disappear for a little bit, but yeah, now we're I think it's like at a solid B tier. I think it just kind of gets there. Every time I play against it, they just always get there. So I definitely think B is a solid choice. As for Miraidon, I'm thinking Miraidon is also in the B tier. I just don't like where Miraidon is. Like, I mean, it's solid. I'm just not a Miraidon player myself, but it is pretty versatile. It's got some outs. It's got some interesting plays it can pull off. So I don't hate Miraidon. It's definitely fast, but I just don't think it's as fast as some of the other decks in the format. I'm gonna go out of order a little bit here because I've noticed like all the meta decks are kind of on the top. So let's kind of get some of the fluff out of the way. Reggie's, I just don't play it. Just don't play it. Like D is do not play. Do not take these to a regional. Great Tusk Mill. I love the deck so much. People are trying to make it work with Gravity Gemstone. It can work. Take it to a Challenger Cup. Don't take it to a regional. You're just not gonna have a good time. Let's see. Flygon. I'm unsure about Flygon. I think there is potential. I'm gonna put it in C, just because I don't. There's potential. There is potential there with Flygon. And someone asked that I put it on the video, so definitely gonna do that. Conkeldurr, this deck I swear is the bane of my existence every time I play an online tournament or I go to my locals and someone whips out some jank. But I wouldn't recommend taking it to a regional. I feel like there's just other status condition decks to play at a regional, and we will cover that very, very shortly. So we got a couple of those out of the way. Let's go ahead with Ancient Box. I think Ancient Box is also a B right now. I just, especially with Charizard picking back up, I just think Ancient Box is going to struggle again. So yeah, you know, I haven't played Ancient Box too much. I probably can't touch on it as well as some others, but I just feel like they just always struggle to get there, especially on some of these bigger decks. Like you have like the Dragapult matchups and stuff like that. Your Charizards, you're just gonna have a rough time. You really are. Banette Guardy. I don't hate Banette Guardy. Item lock is very powerful. Item lock is very powerful, but again, I feel like it's just kind of a B tier pick. I definitely think it's a good pick. I'm gonna put it at the top of B tier for right now. It's possible some things might, knock it down a touch later, but I don't think Banette Guardy's too bad. You can kind of go into the Guardy build if you need to, but you can kind of just stay into the Banette, and not playing items really sucks. So let's go ahead to one of my beloved's, Snorlax. I did just win a challenge with Snorlax like last weekend. I pretty much went undefeated except for Guardy. We tied. So I'm going to put Snorlax in A, but I do feel like Snorlax has some pretty bad matchups in this current meta, and it does struggle a lot. So it is A, but it's like right now it's at the top of A, but it won't stay there for very long. In fact, I'm going to put Pidgeot Control above Snorlax, and probably significantly above Snorlax, actually. I just think Pidgeot Control is just the better way to play control, stall, whatever you want to call it. I just think it's probably the best way to play that right now. and you just have so many other options. You have so many options, like not just to deck out your opponent, but it's very feasible to win on 6 prizes with Pidgeot control as well. So I really like the it gives me a headache playing it, but I really like playing it. And if you're a believer, if you're one of those built different, crazy Pidgeot control believers that like watch Blitzel, like just yeah, like y'all are a different breed. And specifically, like if you put in the work for that deck, you will get results. I mean, that's with every deck, but Pidgeot control is definitely a high learning curve, but it is very rewarding to learn it. Raging Bolt, Raging Bolt, Raging Bolt, Raging Bolt, Raging Bolt. We've all seen it. It's like constantly 11 to 15% meta share. I think it's a solid A pick, no debate. Not the best deck in the room, but it's probably the best deck to get you a day 2. It just works so well for so many people. I typically don't play it myself that often, but every time I do, when you just pop off, it just feels kind of good. Very linear, but it doesn't have to be non-linear. It does lose to stuff like Pidgeot Control and Snorlax pretty heavily, but you do win a lot of your Charizard matchups. You win a lot of other, like you just win a lot of stuff. So it's pretty solid. I don't think there's anything wrong with Raging Bolt. Very solid choice. Cerulege, I think it's a C tier, honestly. The deck's got potential. It can ramp up really good. I just feel like right now, it's just like Palkia one-shots it. Milotic one-shots it, which you don't have to worry about Milotic that often, but it's just there's a lot going against it, and it's so linear. You can run it with the Palkia engine, and a lot do. It's probably your best way to run it, I think, right now, because it does give you a few extra options. It gives you a water typing. It also gives you the Greninja play to get around some things. So yeah, I think it's pretty solid, but yeah, I wouldn't take it too seriously, and I probably wouldn't take it to a regional. Gardevoir, we just saw do really well. We saw win a major. Guardy fell off quite a bit, but now it's picking back up. It depends how fast the game is going. It kind of dictates whether Guardy's good or not. And somehow Guardy is still just in there. So I think Guardy's like top of A, honestly. Guardy's very good right now. I'm Guardy's biggest hater, and even I think it's in top of A. So, do with that information what you will. I'm probably not the best person to tell you how to play Pidgeot, Guardy, though. Trapco's Dusknoir. This kind of fell off. Like, this was the bane of my existence in Louisville, but it's kind of fell off. I'm going to put it, like, down here. Yeah, I'm going to put it, like, down here. I think it fell off. I think it's still good, but I just think there's a better way to play Terapagos right now. And I think there's just better ways to play Dusknoir right now. Maybe just don't run them together. Turbo Moon. This deck I've been really enjoying. I kind of want to put it like at the top of B tier. I really enjoy it right now. It's just super fast. we've all seen Turbo Moon. It won, or it got second at Worlds. Sorry. So it hadn't changed too much. The Petulant makes it very, very nice. And yeah, you pretty much beat Stall, you beat Control. There's just so many little things. I mean, it does get beaten by other stuff though, so it's kind of one of those win fast, lose fast types of decks. If you're worried about not being able to have time for bathroom breaks, if you're playing like Control or Stall, play Turbo Moon. You'll have plenty of time to use the bathroom between rounds because you'll probably either win in 12 to 20 minutes or you'll lose in that time. And that's like probably 2 to 3 games worth. Lugia Archeops. This is one of the decks that are near and dear to my heart. Unfortunately, it's fallen off quite a bit due to all the lightning decks and thorns and just everything kind of going against it. I still think it's really good. I still think it's a solid B tier. It never really loses anything. It doesn't really ever gain much. But at the same time, people aren't respecting it. No one's running Sinnohs, no one's running E-Hammers, no one's running Giacomos, no one's running these cards that put Lugia in check before. So I think Lugia is a perfect time to rise up. if you can avoid the Dragapult Iron Thorns matchup or the Iron Thorns matchup altogether. Speaking of Dragapult Thorns, we have Dragapult Iron Thorns, which was a meme like a month and a half ago, I thought, but now it's real and it can hurt you. And it's sitting in A. Yeah, I think Dragapult Thorns is just really solid. It's a bit of a pile. It can be a bit of a pile, but what deck isn't? It has so many options. It shuts down so much. It's just so frustrating to play against. But yeah, I think it's really solid. Not a bad choice at all to take to a regional. Not at all. And I think with the Thorns, it might put some pressure on your opponent, especially if they are newer to the game. They may not know how to play around a deck kind of like that. You do catch a lot of people that are new to the Pokemon TCG at a regional. So, I feel like almost every regional I go to, I hit somebody on their first regional. So, yeah, you might be able to definitely overwhelm your opponent there. Regidrago. This deck is still so good. I don't play it myself a whole lot, but it is such a good deck. Instant S tier. I don't think there's much debate. You could argue it's an A, but I think it's an S. It's just so good. It's got so many outs, and the Alolan Executor just makes it even more annoying to play against because there's just no drawback of knocking something out, but you're just flipping whether heads or tails. And sometimes you can lock something in the active or flip tails and just knock stuff out. Like it's kind of wild. Yeah, I think Regidrago is 100% S tier. Palkia Knockdown. Palkia Knockdown is one of those decks like came out of nowhere. Everyone's hyped up. Everyone hyped up Palkia. Everyone hyped up Palkia. And then it just like Palkia Knockdown fell off. Like I think it's kind of C tier, honestly. But by saying that, I'm gonna put Palkia Dusknoir. I'm gonna put it with the other Dusknoir deck like right here. I think they're both kind of B tier. I think they're fine, but they're just in the B tier amongst many other decks. There's nothing wrong with B tier. It's just there's just decks that are fundamentally, I think, better. Archaludon is a C, maybe a D, but I don't think it's C. I think it's C. It's I'm gonna rearrange this a little bit. I'll put Palkia Knockdown at the top of C. I'll put Archaludon in the middle. Yeah, I kind of like that. Yeah, I kind of like Archaludon. It's just one of the things like it's tanky, it's kind of good. It's got a good ability, but the attack is just kind of meh. Like, yeah, you one shot a V, but you also have to evolve yourself. So by the time you get there, like it's just a lot that's got to happen right. Otherwise, you're just still two-shotting everything, and I feel like there's just better ways to two-shot stuff in the game. One deck that likes to 2 and 3 shot stuff sometimes is Iron Thorns, one of my favorites. Did really well, won a cup with it not too long ago, and I think it's pretty good. I think you can take it to a regional and do really well, and I'm gonna put it like mid B tier. The reason being is like people know Iron Thorns, people know how to play against it, but at the same time, it still just shuts decks down. Decks like Charizard, decks like Regidrago. There are just a lot of decks that cannot get going, and I mean you just free win against Lugia pretty much. Like it is, there's a lot. You kind of sort of win the matchup war, which kind of carries you through the match. Because some games you just can't do what you want to do. Some games you wish you could do more, but you're very limited because you're playing very slow. You attach, attack type of deal. Yeah. But Iron Thorn's solid choice. Watch your opponent rage when you flip it over. It's funny. Cloth Terapagos. This is my opinion. Well, let's go with Cloth first. Cloth as a whole. Cloth as by itself, honestly, it's like, I guess B. I almost want to. I'll put it in B. I'll put it in B because it is pretty solid by itself. But the Terapagos, Cloth Terapagos, it's S. I think it's probably one of the best decks in the game right now. It's just so good. The poison, you can potentially donk your opponent before they even get to actually do anything. That's happened to me. Like, if that happened to me in a regional, I'm going to be livid if I lose a game because I get donked on poison. So you have a lot of outs. Terapagos just kind of works with cloth weirdly enough. It's just, that beat stick colorless. It works. You run DTE, so it makes sense. And yeah, it's just a very solid deck. It's gotten a crazy matchup spread. Like I I was looking on Trainer Hill and like it actually like based on the data, it didn't have like a bad matchup in like the main decks they had listed. I mean there are decks that beat it, but those decks that beat it are kind of fringe, whereas this is just running rampant at the at events. So Cloth Trapgos, I really think is an S tier pick. It's so good right now. Dragapult, just straight Dragapult. I've been seeing this at my locals a lot. Um, I don't know. I'd say it's an A tier. I think it's fine. I guess. Well, I guess like the Dragapult Dusknoir, straight Dragapult. Is that even a thing anymore? I'll put that in C because I don't even know if that's like a real thing. The Dragapult Dusknoir is what I was referring to. I'm gonna put that in like a solid A. I think that's really good. It might even be on the level of Dragapult Iron Thorns, but maybe. See, I don't know. I kind of like it a little better. Maybe I'll move this here. I'll keep it like this. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Gouging Fire. Yeah, this one, it's not bad. It's not bad, but I just wouldn't play it personally. I'm putting in D. We gotta get more in D, I think. I just wouldn't personally play it. Let's go with Ogerpon Noivern and Mimikyu Ogerpon. These two decks are pretty similar. Some run the Milotic in both of these versions. Some do not. Some run all three. Some run like Ogerpon Noivern and Mimikyu. I don't know. I think they're both C tier. I think they're like mid C. They're both powerful when they hit the right matchups, but they just lose to other matchups. So they're kind of silly. They're matchup dependent, but I think they're fun. They're fun to play. Absolutely. Chen Pao. Who's still playing Chen Pao in this month in 2024? Chen Pao was one of those decks, one of those like decks that rewarded you for learning sequencing and stuff. And it's still it can be a good deck. You can absolutely win with it. But the question is like, I don't know. I don't think it deserves to be in D. I'll put in high C. High C. Cerul. I don't even know what Cerulege. Some of these I feel like need to be down here. I'm sorry. Some of those I feel like need to be down there. I don't hate Flygon. Nah, Flygon's fine, actually. I don't really know. I don't think there's that too many bad decks. I think a lot of decks are pretty. I think we're in a very healthy meta. I think the ratio is pretty good. We're nearly done here. Lost Box or Sablezard. I'm just gonna put do not play right there. Like, if you want to play Lost Box, play Lost Box. Sablezard is like, yeah, I just don't think it's. I just don't really see as much. I could be wrong on that. I'm not a Lost Box player myself, so correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. All right, my boy, the cheese stick, Gold Dingo, right here, right behind Guardy. I think Gold Dingo is so good. It's got such a good matchup spread. The Energy Search Pro makes it so powerful, though the Palkia version is also really good. The Togekiss really speeds things up and can potentially turn the prize trade in your favor from a deficit. So a bit of a comeback mechanic with Goldingo, or just a crazy get ahead mechanic. Some people are running Dusknoir and Goldingo as well. I definitely think you just get more value out of the Togekiss, because the Togekiss can actually also attack for 140, which is not too bad if, say, you get stuck with like a Mimikyu or something that you can't get behind, or you can't get around. So, yeah, Goldingo, solid choice. Can't go wrong. One of my possibilities for San Antonio, though I'm kind of just up in the air right now as to what to play, so I might try to switch it up and do something different. And now we have Hydreigon. I don't feel right putting it in D and not Cerulege, so I'm gonna put it next to Cerulege. I'm gonna put all these archetypes, like the newer archetypes, right here because I just feel like they have potential. Maybe they're not the best right now. They might be really good down the road. They might be great after rotation. We just don't know. So we right now though, I would not personally play it. Like right now, C and D, I wouldn't take to a regional. Though I was kind of leaning on one of these Ogerpon decks, but I don't think I am anymore. And lastly, we have Charizard Pidgeot. I'm just gonna put it right in the middle here. Charizard is just so good. It might be better in Cloth. I don't know, but I'd say these three S tier decks are on the same level. Um, in terms of how good they are according to the rest of the meta. We've seen Charizard, we just had a double Charizard major final, so Charizard's just so good. Though I wouldn't recommend running Pokestop Charizard, but Charizard is really good. It's just so consistent, has so many outs. It's just the Pidgeot. It just flows so well. What else to say about Charizard? We've been dealing with this deck for what, a year and a half now. We know how it works. It's just so good. And with Dust Noir, it just ramps your damage up. Yeah, you can't go wrong with Zard. You can't go wrong with S tier, A tier, or maybe even you might be able to go wrong with the B tier. I'd say B tier, like if you're gonna play one of these, you really have to know how to play it, or you might struggle. With A tier, I think you could pick it up and be pretty good. Certain decks like Pidgeot Control definitely take a lot more time, and you have to like understand other deck card counts and stuff to really get the full value out of decks like that. But I think I think this is a solid layout for the next regionals. So whether you are going to Toronto, whether you're going to Birmingham, or whether you're going to San Antonio, I hope that this guide has been helpful. I hope that the tier list has been helpful. Hopefully, if you haven't made your choice already, hopefully it helps sway your choice. And yeah, best of luck at a regional, whichever one you go to. And hopefully I will see you at San Antonio. All right, signing off, guys. Definitely like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't yet. Did I miss any decks? Let me know in the comments below. And yeah, have a good one. Stay safe. Love y'all. Peace out.